How in the Hell Did I Get Here is supported by the Coloring Book Coach. Check out the new podcast, How to Fall in Love with Yourself Toolkit, an intuitive guide for your month. Find it at thecoloringbookcoach.com. We ended our show last week with our heroine and friend, Janine, who started the day feeling a little off and was now ending her day heading through the doors of a scary and unfamiliar place, the psych ward. Stay tuned to find out what happens to Janine next in the second part of the episode we're calling From Breakdown to Breakthrough. Part 1 of this episode aired November 21st, 2019. Please go back and listen to that one if you haven't heard it already. This is Kim A. Floden, and you're listening to How in the Hell Did I Get Here? As always, today's episode includes swear words. Stay with us. Hey, it's Kim, and this episode is airing on Thanksgiving 2019, so I just wanted to take a moment to say what I'm grateful for. Starting with you. When I started this podcast with my 4 sisters in January, I had no idea if anyone beyond friends and family, and I wasn't even sure about them, would listen. And now we've had almost 6,500 downloads from all over the world, and my mind is blown week after week, because as we show up, so do you. And I know so many of you are sharing the show. So thank you. I'm so grateful. I'm also grateful to my sisters. Doing a podcast is hard work, harder than I imagined, and I can't even fathom what it would be like without their support, editorial suggestions, and participation every week. So thank you, sisters. Also, a huge shout out of gratitude to our wonderful guests this year. And I don't even know what to say to those of you who are financially supporting the show through Ko-fi.com, except for thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting something that is so near and dear to my heart. Happy Thanksgiving, and on with the show. We left our heroine at the brink of going through the doors of the hospital's psych ward with her friend by her side. Now she's made it into the psych ward. The question is, when will she make it out?
So I basically cocooned myself, and then we get to the doors and I'm waiting, to be processed in there, and wheel me in and put me in this dark gray concrete room. Actually, I hadn't seen a doctor. I'd just seen the receptionist and a nurse, and then my friend and I are in this room.
I mean, so far it sounds like a horror movie.
By then, I've come to a place in my mind where I have to accept this. I can't panic anymore. I can't stutter. I have to gain some kind of control, or I may not get out of there.
Right. And it's fine to visit, but you don't want to stay.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, so this is the help I'm supposed to get? And I think, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And then I look at the door and I can see and hear, the commotion of people in the ward, and it's a busy day there. It's a busy Friday, and I am completely overwhelmed, but I'm also gone from fight or flight to fight, and I have to be talked down to a rational level, and I want out, and I'm told I have to wait. I start looking around. I'm in survival instincts now about how I can get out of there. And I always have scenarios running through my mind. If plan A doesn't work, I got to have plan B waiting in the bullpen. And I look up and I see there's bars on this tiny little window. And I am a little person, but I don't even think I can get my booty through that small space. So I decide I'm going to start talking to my friend. And I start thanking her, and then I start apologizing to her because the shame just rolled over me like cold shower. No. And then I sit on the bed in the room, and I go back to whether I'm going to sink or swim. So I start getting very proactive in my thought process, and I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I can start paying attention to how I can actively solve this problem. So my problem was I was having rapid, ongoing panic attacks, and I'm not having them now. So now I can speak and I can think rationally. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, I just want to get the fuck out of there. So,
right. Now you're like, okay, we're done with this ride. I'm ready to get off.
Yes. Yeah. And I start thinking of, literally, you had mentioned it. One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Like, how can I act my way out of this wet paper bag?
Right. Exactly. Oh God.
Yeah, it was like right out of an episode of SVU meets, Speed. And I'm like, help me, Keanu. Help me,
if
Keanu.
If only Keanu would have showed up at that moment to get you out of there.
Oh, I would have died happily in his
arms. And then they would have been like, oh my God, now she's seeing Keanu Reeves.
And as I had said earlier, I'm already neurodiverse. I'm already empathic. I already feel and sense and see energy coming at me like freight train. And then my mom, my dear beloved departed mama, pops in, and she keeps saying to me, "You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone."
Mm.
And I'm thinking in my rational mind, yeah, I know that. My friend's sitting right here. Like, you're here. And she says, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. And I'm like, okay, broken record, Mom. I get it. Then I start getting, sarcastic. And then I start cracking jokes. And I start making fun of the situation at my own expense. That's how I deal.
Yeah, me too.
With
and it is
situations.
Well, and it is like once you get through it, that's why I have the podcast, because how the hell did I get here? Because living through some of this stuff isn't as like easy peasy as telling the story later. I mean, you freaking have to live it, man, to be able to tell the story. and then you can laugh at yourself once you're still alive.
Yes, I lived it in every cell in my body. So after I realized my mom was trying to help, my friend was helping, and Keanu wasn't showing up.
No, Keanu, damn it.
On a white horse or
anything.
A nice Harley.
Or a bus.
Or a bus.
Well, Janine has definitely had quite the day, and it's not over yet. Find out what happens to her next after the break. Stay with us. Hey there, it's Kim. I'm just popping in to answer a quick question someone asked, which is what more they could do to help support the show beyond sharing, reviewing, and subscribing. Here's a quick list. 1. Buy us a cookie or two at ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com/howinthehell. It's actually spelled ko-fi.com and then /howinthehell. 2, we have fun merchandise. Shirts, mugs, bags, even socks. The link is at howinthehellpodcast.com. 3, are you a small business owner? You can advertise on the show. Email howinthehell@gmail.com or call 323-488-3303. Welcome back to How in the Hell Did I Get Here? We left Janine waiting to find out what was going to happen to her after her very strange day, which has led her to the psych ward. Now, back to our story.
I don't know how long I waited because time in those concrete, rooms just stands still.
It just once you get into a hospital, time gets weird.
And then a nurse comes and sits down with me and basically asking me, who I am, what I'm about, and why am I there. We're going through, the motions, and she has her clipboard and she's checking off things, and okay, I'm a writer as well. And I'm like, well, you have anything you want to share? Because I might blog about this later.
You did not. You did not.
Did.
I love
did.
that.
Oh,
did she have anything?
No quotes, but she did ask me, your standard questions. If I was suicidal, did I want to hurt myself? Did I want to hurt anyone else? And I was like, oh, fuck no. Like, that takes effort. Like, no.
Right. I don't have enough energy to hurt anybody.
And I said, I'm not in that place. I said, I just want to run away. I just want to run away from this feeling. I just want to run away from my life. I was triggered, and then it was the straw that broke the camel's back, and my nervous system just went, yeah, later. And now I know I need to help myself. And then the nurse is saying, well, how do you think you're going to do that in the state you're in? And then all of a sudden it's like questioning me as a human being, questioning me as a parent, questioning me as this, living, breathing, more or less chaotic, personality in front of her. And then she decides to tell me I'm too negative. Before you ask, I decided to unleash on her. Okay, you may be educated, you may be a parent, and you may be, a lot more experienced at this. But I am living this, crazy town circus act. And
good for you.
I'm here to get help. So fuck you, and fuck you in a rolling donut.
Good. And the horse you rode in on. Take your horse, take your donut, get the hell out of here.
Yes.
Okay. So that was Nurse Ratched.
Yes. And I said, you should know I am a writer, and you never piss off a writer if you don't want to be written about.
Yes, I love that saying, the Anne Lamott. If you didn't want to be included in my story, you should have behaved better.
I say, you know what? I'm not her brand of crazy. Fuck that, Nurse Ratched. Get me a doctor. Well, you may not see a doctor. This was her parting advice for me.
Oh.
You may not see a doctor till like 3 a.m. We are very busy. You might not see a doctor till 3 a.m. So if you really want to help yourself, you should just sit there and calm down, and I'll bring you some medication. So she left, and I decided I would take her advice grudgingly. And I did sit there, and I did think. And then I looked at my friend and I said, do you want to get out of here? And then she said, yes. And I said, well, then you should go home. I'll call my husband. And then she says, I'm not leaving your side. I'm here until I'm not. So
wow.
By this time,
good friend.
It's like 7:00 at night. We're both starving.
How long had this been going on now, Janine?
Well, when I woke up at 7 a.m. and I just felt off, that continued on. And then I was full-blown panic attack probably between 1 and 2 p.m.
Right. And you'd probably been at the hospital for probably 3 hours or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got my medication, and then I had a doctor that came and saw me. I'm still in the psych ward. I mean, nothing like a wake-up call there. After Nurse Ratched, I said, well, I'm leaving. No, you're not. I ended up taking the pill, and then my friend said, described her credentials and said she's safe with me. We're leaving now, and she needs to see a doctor. So they got a doctor, and I mean, blessings upon blessings. My friend actually knew him, and he had given me instructions about what would come next. And I was to call this number, and then I would be fast-tracked to a process they call rapid referral psychiatry. So that is how the rest of the evening progressed. And then we went back to my husband's work, and he met me there. I got my scripts filled at the pharmacy, and then after, copious amounts of hugs and tears, and I just washed my friend in gratitude, and she finally went home.
Good lady.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say thank you first and foremost to Janine for sharing her story and living through it to share it here with us today. Kudos to you, Janine. I caught up with Janine after our recording, and I'm so happy to report that not only did she turn her breakdown into a breakthrough, she is doing awesome. Here's just a short list of the positive and wonderful things that have been happening for her in the year's time since this story has passed. Within just a couple months after her visit to the psych ward, Janine leaned into her energetic gifts, and she began an energy apprenticeship program with the Coloring Book Coach, also known as the host of this show. She's learning how to work with and manage her gifts while healing herself so she can do the same for others. And about 6 months after this story, she was unexpectedly invited to speak on an expert panel at the National Canadian Autism Spectrum Disorder Alliance conference after the administrator was impressed with her essay and invited her to share this story. She also sat on an expert panel to discuss embracing the complexities of autism and participated in a university family engagement and research course, and is now very excited to be starting work as a research assistant, as well as being the chair of a parent advisory committee for post-traumatic stress injury in parents of neurodiverse children with the Strongest Families Institute. Plus, she completed a program called Calm the Chaos and became an ambassador. See the video with Janine and her family in the show notes on our website. She says the Calm the Chaos program changed her way of parenting, and she fell even more in love with her family. As you can see, Janine truly did take her breakdown and also a very crazy day and really turned it into a breakthrough. She also shared a list with me called How to Turn Your Breakdown into a Breakthrough. If you'd like a copy of the tips she believed helped her, visit our show notes for this episode at howinthehellpodcast.com. You can also learn more about Janine and where to follow her there. Again, if you or someone you know has ever had a day like Janine had, please reach out for help. Search for mental help online, or if things are really too much, call 911 for immediate help. Meet you back here next week for more How in the Hell Did I Get Here stories. Until then, pay attention, my friends. You just never know when you might find yourself saying,
I just want to run away. I just want to run away
Yes.
from this feeling. I just want to run away from my life.
How in the hell did I get here? Thanks again to our sponsor, The Coloring Book Coach. Be sure to check out the podcast, How to Fall in Love with Yourself Toolkit, to hear affirmations, guidance, wisdom, intuition, and action steps for each week of the month, and find information about the Energy Apprenticeship program that Janine is participating in and found so helpful. And thank you, Silent Partner, for our theme song, 7th Floor Tango, and our ad music, Blue Skies. We found them on YouTube's Creator Library. This week's show was written, produced, and hosted by Kim A. Floden, with editing help from Carrie Floden.